יש לנו כבר 5 או 7?
Hello friends, greetings from Jerusalem. We are now next to the Kotel, the Wailing Wall, the remaining wall on top of which stood the temple, and today is the 14th of Nisan, so we are just ahead of a very important Jewish holiday, remembering the going out from Egypt and being freed from the slavery in Egypt. So today you have many prayers in the morning, and in the evening the Jewish people will gather in their homes and celebrate this important event in their history, which gave them freedom physically and also freedom spiritually. So we are here on the next to the Wailing Wall Plaza. This is the area where the men pray. There is also a synagogue over there inside, and behind this this barrier there is a section for women to pray. So not a lot of people still here because it's early in the morning, but slowly and slowly this place will start to fill up. So there are many things today in Israel that are being prepared. The Jewish people clean their homes, they remove the hametz, the uncleanness, and prepare for the Passover Seder. Seder means order, because there is a certain order of things you do, and there are many things you do during this whole Passover Seder, and you go step by step. This is the meaning of this holiday. You remember different moments connected to the enslaving from Egypt. So once again you can see the Wailing Wall. This over here is a special bridge that leads on top of the mount, on top of the Temple Mount. It is only open for certain days and certain hours, and through this special bridge everybody can enter, because there are many entrances to the Temple Mount, but this is the only one through which non-Muslims can enter. So the entrance to this bridge is actually, you need to go out from this plaza and then you can enter the Temple Mount. I did a video where I walk on the Temple Mount, so you can check it out. I will leave a link in the description. But now what I want to do, I want to take you on a tour to the Mount of Olives. So we are here next to the Western Wall, but we'll be going in the direction of the Mount of Olives. So today is the 14th of Nisan, the day when in the evening the Passover starts. So we just exited the Western Wall Plaza, and I want to show you something here which is very important. What you can see here are the remains of a street from the 1st century. So below us there is a street where you have foundations of buildings that were here in the 1st century AD, and above it you can see like something sticking out of the wall. Most probably the Robinson's Arch. It is named after an explorer who discovered it. Before, like in the 18th century, everything what you see below was covered with dirt. There was nothing visible here. So everything that you can see now has been uncovered and is being excavated. So this is quite remarkable. So this is the western southern end of the Temple Mount, but we will go in that direction. You can already see the Mount of Olives in the distance. This is where we are heading. So we're gonna go down now. We'll walk next to the Kidron Valley, and we're gonna go up to the Mount of Olives. So let's go. Please forgive me for my voice today. I was a little bit sick. I think I got a cold, and the few days were quite rough for me. So my voice is still not where it should be, but I hope as time progresses it will get better. So this is the Dung Gate. Dung Gate. So this is the gate that leads to the Western Wall. You can see again. This is where you enter, and you go to the hotel, the Western Wall. This is the Davidson Archaeological Park, which I told you about, where you can see the remains of the 1st century street, and also some of the big stones that were thrown down from the top of the Temple Mount to the street by the Romans when the temple was destroyed in the 70 AD. And you can also see the foundations, the big stones that Herod put to enlarge the temple complex. So this is how it looks. So we're gonna go now through the Dung Gate. You can see beautiful flowers, also a lot of synagogues, yeshivas over here where Jewish people study the Torah. So it's very close to their most important place, which is the Western Wall, the Kotel. So it's quite logical why they would build the schools of Torah here. Okay, so we're going through the Dung Gate. This is the Western Wall Plaza over there, and now we're gonna go in the direction of the Mount of Olives. So there's much construction here, as you can see. This road is being redone, so during the day it's really busy here, but we are very early in the morning, so it's not that bad. So you can actually see the sign over here which says the City of David, and this is actually where the City of David is located. So we can actually go there for a little bit so that you can see where it is. Over here it's a huge archaeological site. You can see the ancient stones that are dug up. This is where it is still an active archaeological site, so much will be happening here and much will probably be discovered. But this is the location also where the Ophel was, so the part which joined the City of David with joins the City of David with the Temple Mount. So just to give you an idea, this is the Ophel, and we're gonna go to the City of David just for you to see the view. We will not go inside like the tunnels that are also available but you need to buy a ticket to go there. But we'll just go in if it's open today. I'm not sure if it's gonna be open. We'll see, because it's a holiday, so it might be closed. If it will be closed, then we'll not go in, logically, but we'll see. But this is, at least you will know how to get to the City of David from the Western Wall. So yeah, the place looks closed, but you can still get in here. Oh. Okay, so we'll go on top. Over here there's a nice viewpoint where I will talk a little bit about the geography of Jerusalem. So actually it might be open today still, because the holiday starts in the evening, so in the morning it still may be open. Okay guys, so we are on top of the City of David. We just came out of this gate over there. You can see the Dung Gate over there where the tracks are. This is where we went out from the Western Wall Plaza, and here we are on top of the City of David. Below us is the Kidron Valley. So this is one of the main valleys of Jerusalem. There were 3 valleys: the Kidron Valley, the Tyropeon Valley, and the Hinnom Valley. So together those 3 valleys created a shape of a letter Shin, and the letter Shin is very important in Hebrew language, because it's one of the letters which signifies the name of God, Shaddai. So the three valleys made a shape that resembles this letter, and this is important in the context of God saying that he will put his name in Jerusalem. So we find his words that say that. So you're looking now on the Kidron Valley over here. This is the Silvan, this is an Arab neighborhood which is functioning a little bit illegally, because there is no build permits given here. As you can see, the trash is not taken out by any services, it's just thrown out by the villagers to the slopes of this valley. There is no, in many of the homes there is no running water, so this is like a slums. This is like a slums area of Jerusalem. It's an Arab neighborhood, which is actually, it is quite interesting because it is built on an ancient graveyard, because there are, you can see on the bottom, you can see like holes in the rock. These were these were burial sites that were used in the ancient times. So it's quite an interesting place, because it's a modern slums built on an ancient graveyard. And of course over there you have the Jewish graveyard. This was also Jewish, but this is like even older than this. This is the iconic Mount of Olives, where Jewish people want to be buried. It's always been a burial site from ancient times, from the times of kings. The Mount of Olives was always used as a burial site, and today it's very expensive to be buried here. And why do people want to be buried here? Well, because according to the prophecies, the Messiah will step down on the Mount of Olives. So the people that will be buried here, of course there will be a massive resurrection when that happens. When the Messiah steps down on the Mount of Olives, all the graves will open, people will rise to new life, and those that are buried here will be the first ones to see the Messiah. So that's why it is so valued to be buried here. Okay, so this is actually the location of the city of David. So this is where the history of Jerusalem, of the history of Israeli people started with Jerusalem, really, because this is where David established his capital, where the capital of all Israel was here. So this is the Kidron Valley, which you can see below us, and over there in that direction you have the end of the Kidron Valley, where you also have the pool of Siloam. I made a video where I talk about the Kidron Valley, where I actually go down this road you can see over there and onto the pool of Siloam. I will leave a link in the description to this video. But I will visit the pool of Siloam again, because recently there has been some new excavations around this place, so I will keep you updated on what's going on there. So now we will exit the city of David, and we'll go to the Mount of Olives. So we'll walk all that way over there. So let's go. Okay, so now we are gonna get out of the city of David. Oh, let me show you this before we get out. So this is where I was talking to you about the Kidron Valley, which is below, and this is the city of David over here. And there are also ancient tunnels which you can enter through in the city of David. One of the tunnels is the tunnel built by Hezekiah, which leads from the Gihon spring to the pool of Siloam. So you can actually go through this tunnel and feel the waters of the Gihon spring today. So it's all possible. But we're not gonna go down there today. We're gonna go to the Mount of Olives.
We'll change that. All right. We'll change that. Okay.
So, City of David is a very nice place. You can get the coffee here. You can use the toilets, of course. So this is the entrance to the tunnels. If you have a ticket, you can go down and actually see the ancient tunnels and the ancient stones of the city of David. So slowly and slowly people are waking up and the streets are getting more crowded, but it's still quite early in the morning, so it's not that bad. So here you can see where the Temple Mount begins, and the Al-Aqsa Mosque is on top of it, and of course the Dome of the Rock is behind it, but we don't see it here. So you can hear the roosters. So some kind of fire here. Oh wow, I know what this is. This is the burning of the Hametz. This is a tradition in Jewish life. When you get out the Hametz from your house, and you burn it. So this is where it happens. You can see the Kidron Valley here. This is where they burn it. This is the Temple Mount.
There are Muslims who are listening to this. Exactly.
And over there you can see the valley ending. So we were just here in the city of David. So this is right next to the city of David, and you have the Kidron Valley below. So, to tell you a little bit more about this tradition, today every Jewish home is cleaned out and all the hametz is being thrown out, the leaven. You can only eat unleavened bread throughout the holiday of Passover. So you have the famous matzah bread, which has no leaven. And there is a tradition that you clean the house and then you burn all the leaven which you gather. So this is what it was. This is the tradition. So here you can see Mount of Olives. See how big it is. You see? So this is where, according to the biblical prophecies, the Messiah will step down. This mountain will divide into two halves, and a river will go in the middle of it. So you see all the buses that are parked over there. This is why this is a very important place for Christians and for Jewish people. For Christians, this is an important place because of the Garden of Gethsemane, to which we will go. So here you can see the valley, the Kidron Valley. That is below us. And we will go over there. You can see a church in the distance. This is the location of the Garden of Gethsemane. So we'll go there. You will see some really ancient olive trees. Some of the oldest olive trees in Jerusalem are located over there. And it is currently a location of a church. It's called the Church of the Nations because many different nations contributed to the creation of this building, and that's why it's called the Church of the Nations. But it's also the traditional location of the Garden of Gethsemane. Over here you can see some of bigger grave burial sites. The pillars, this is the pillar of Absalom, for example. Of course it's not connected to the King Absalom, but it's named after him. This is much later, but nevertheless those are some really old burial sites. So here you can see a panorama on the Mount of Olives, a giant graveyard which is located on the Mount of Olives. It is concentrated in this area, as you can see, but this is also Mount of Olives. It's not occupied by graves yet. So you have different churches here. You have the Church of the Nations, you have the Church of Catherine, you have the Church of the Tyr over there, and also you can see the different state of the graves. Some of them, as you can see here below, are in a very bad shape. You know, they have not been taken care of for a long time, but here you can see some of the newer graves that are taken care of. So, and of course you have the big sites, burial sites over here, like a family burial site. You have the you have the pillar of Absalom, for example, here, which is a big family grave. But there are others also. But we'll go further this road until we get to the Garden of Gethsemane, and then from there we will go up to the Mount of Olives. So still a lot of interesting things to see, so I hope you enjoyed this tour with me today. Even though my voice is not perfect, I hope you enjoyed this walk around Jerusalem in a very important day, then the 14th of Nisan, which is the day when the Jewish people celebrate Passover in the evening. So in the distance over there you see like a tower, and this is called Mount Scopus, but it's still Mount of Olives. It's just a little bit different part of Mount of Olives. This is where you have the Hebrew University over there, and the building with the red cupolas is the Church of Saint Stephen. So as you remember, Stephen was a martyr. He was stoned to death. So this is a church that was created to remember him. And you can see a very nice site of the Kidron Valley, and you can see the olive trees below that are planted. And here are some more olive trees. And here you have the iconic Golden Gate or Eastern Gate. This gate is the only gate that would lead to the Temple Mount from the east. Of course, today it's Today this gate is part of this wall that was created by Suleiman the Magnificent in the 16th century. However, this gate is built on ancient foundations, and the foundations date to the first temple period. So we know that in this location there was a gate that was an eastern entrance to the Temple Mount. And this is very important because, as I mentioned before, when the Messiah will step down on the Mount of Olives, he will go through this gate. And the Muslim people actually created a cemetery in front of this gate to prevent the Messiah from entering this way, because as they know, Jewish people cannot enter a grave site and then a holy place. Once they touch a grave, they become ceremonially unclean. So they build a cemetery here to prevent the Messiah from coming. But they don't realize that the Messiah can make everything clean. Even things that are unclean will become clean, and dead people will come to life. So it doesn't really matter if there is a graveyard or not. This will certainly not stop the Messiah. So this is the Eastern Gate. This is the Mount of Olives. This is where we are going. Once again, this is the St. Stephen's Church. We'll pass next to it, and then we'll go to the Garden of Gethsemane. Very important place. I will talk to you a little bit more about the significance of this place and the many images that can illustrate to us the theology that we find in the Bible. So once again, you can see the view on the Mount of Olives. Here's the Golden Gate, Eastern Gate, Mount of Olives. We're gonna go further. So here you can see the church, a monastery of Saint Stephen. This is where it's located.
I mean, what's that? She's from me. Yes,
So now we are very close to the traditional place of the Garden of Gethsemane. Here you can see some of the oldest olive trees in Jerusalem. Okay guys, so we are in the Garden of Gethsemane. Gethsemane means an olive press. This is the meaning of the name, because it's believed to be an ancient olive press place where olives were made into an olive oil. But it's also very symbolic, because this is the place where the last moments of Jesus happened here on earth. And in the Gospels we read that he was suffering so much that through his skin blood was coming out with his sweat, and it is also, he was also pressed as an olive, and he was suffering greatly. So this is the place which traditionally believes it happened. So you can see very old olive trees are located here. Some of them are over 1,000 years old, so they are not as old as 2,000 years. They were not here in the time of Jesus. However, there has been some study made that the roots of those olive trees are even older than the trees themselves. And this is also a interesting picture. If you look at this olive tree, you will see a really ancient olive tree, but from it comes a fresh branch, a new branch that is very young. And this is a picture, some say, of what Paul was talking in the book of Romans, that a new branch was added to a very ancient tree, olive tree, that gives life to this new branch. And olive trees are very interesting because you can cut them down and even burn them, but as long as the roots are healthy, the olive tree will survive and will grow, continue to grow. It will bring out new life. So as long as the root is healthy, then the tree will live. And it's a very important picture also to our lives. If our roots are healthy, then we produce good fruit. So this is the, once again you can see a picture of olive trees in the Garden of Gethsemane, and the Golden Gate is over there. And now we're gonna go to the Mount of Olives. So more and more tourists are starting to visit the historical sites. So this is one of the roads that you can take to go to the top of Mount of Olives. There are different roads actually, but this is one that leads to a very famous spot where all the pictures of Jerusalem are taken of. So you can see it's quite steep. So you can see the view here. You can enter here the Mount of Olives and the graveyard, but we're gonna go even further up. It's a very narrow road, so two cars come, there is a problem, you see. Now they need to find a way to pass. So I don't recommend coming here by car. This can be quite tricky. Look at this. It's a nice view, right? on the Mount of Olives, an ancient graveyard, an ancient grave site. Imagine when the Messiah will come, all those people will rise. What a sight it will be. Okay guys, so we are walking up on the top of Mount of Olives. In the distance you can see already the Golden Gate, the Dome of the Rock and the Al-Aqsa Mosque. So below us is the Kidron Valley. So we are almost on the top of Mount of Olives. There's still some time to go. So once we get there, I'll tell you a little bit about the topography of Jerusalem, a little bit more, so you'll be able to see it. We are very close to the place which is like a viewpoint where the buses come and leave the tourists to take a photo of Jerusalem. So this is very close to this place. So you'll probably not get a better view than this. So once again, we are on the Mount of Olives. You see the Kidron Valley below us. The Stephen Church, we just walked past it some time ago. Over there is the city of David, which we visited also today. And of course the Temple Mount. So thank you guys for joining me today on this virtual tour of Jerusalem. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell button to be notified of new videos that I will be publishing. So I'll see you soon. Have a great day. Shalom.